This video is for you if you're just learning about zodiac signs. Remember that your moon sign and rising sign also have an impact on you when you view any zodiac signs videos that feature your sun sign. Your rising zodiac sign reveals how other people perceive you, while your moon sign describes how you feel. Look up your birth chart if you want to learn more about your moon or rising sign. You, Gemini, are the third zodiac sign, the first mutable sign, and the first air sign. You are the first sign in the zodiac to appreciate duality, communication, and wisdom. What Taurus started in Aries and carried through to Gemini. Not only did Gemini inherit the traits of Taurus, but also those of Aries. Taurus keeps life grounded, while Aries gets things started and maintains life in all its glory. Taurus has transformed the self-assurance it acquired from Aries into self-assurance that is solidly grounded in truth and self-belief. This is when Gemini enters the picture and introduces duality. Gemini supports Aries and gives it a sense of purpose while simultaneously adding Taurus's sense of reason and logic. The majority of Gemini's traits come from Mercury. Gemini and Virgo are ruled by the planet Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication because, according to mythology, it acts as the god's messenger. Mercury is the sign of the mind, language, intelligence, reasoning, and communication. Being the planet with the quickest orbit in our solar system and closest to the sun, Geminis are encouraged to be constantly engaged and open to meeting new people and experiences. Mercury became linked to the god Thoth in ancient Egypt. The god of writing, magic, and wisdom is called Thoth. He is frequently seen wearing a Mercury disk and crescent moon headpiece. Thoth, the god of balance, harmony, and proportion, was strongly related to the Ma'at principle. Examining the mythology, we find that Thoth was Hermes' reincarnation as Mercury. He is regarded as the heavenly record keeper as a result. In addition, he is credited as creating all of the arts and sciences. Since you are the first sign to be consciously aware of others as well as yourself, this is significant for Geminis. Being a student is defined by your zodiac sign. You are teaching your consciousness to be aware and focused on the here and now. Additionally, you are practicing thinking with your heart and feeling with your intellect. As I mentioned earlier, Gemini is an astrological sign that represents the function of duality. You can see two columns or two rods arranged side by side when you look at the Gemini astrological symbol. While they must cooperate in order to maintain their shared life, one will pass away and the other will live. The functions of the energy in nature are symbolized by the two columns. Nature is constructed of matter and energy. Taurus gave Gemini their nature. Your awareness is made of energy. The two columns represent the conversion of matter into energy and energy into matter. They also represent devolution and evolution, two other facets of nature. They stand for both life and death, two facets of the same concept. The star impact of Gemini is the influence of a particular intellect that gives us a type of energy that we may use to either better or deteriorate ourselves. As consciousness develops, the mind and heart are brought into balance. Within the realm of consciousness, Geminis must learn to balance the heart and the mind. Nobody can help them with this, nor is it something that can be taught to them. To understand that everything is inherently temporary and devoid of independent existence. Geminis should read and learn, but they should practice more than anything else. Without practice, studying is uncomfortable. One method that Geminis must maintain a balance between their heart and mind is through consciousness. This will be a little difficult for Geminis because their modality is mutable. The mutable signs are Virgo, Gemini, Pisces, and Sagittarius. They enjoy being active and on the go all the time, and they greatly value change. They don't settle well if they think it's unneeded, and they might be somewhat chaotic at times. Because of their excellent communication skills, they easily establish friendships with people who possess other modality qualities, such as fixed and cardinal. However, Geminis should exercise caution while entering into friendships with other modalities, since their propensity to act one way while saying another can irritate a lot of people, especially those who are close to them. Because Geminis are flexible, they can adapt to changing circumstances or change over time. This was mentioned previously, and their symbols, which stand for twins, also makes this clear. They frequently give the impression of being contradictory people because of their dual identities. As previously said, they are prone to mood swings and unexpected schedule changes. Because of their dual personality, Geminis are also incredibly adaptive people who change their perspectives to fit in with various social groups. This characteristic corresponds with being an air sign. Because they seem to thrive on mental connections, air is typically thought of as the element of intellectual individuals. Every healthy air sign has excellent communication skills and handles disagreements with others rather effectively. When one looks at everything through the eyes of an air sign bearer, one's perspective is altered because they typically have a very distinct analytical and thought process. One characteristic that sets an air sign bearer apart is empathy. They may be able to empathize with someone else's suffering if they invest a great deal of time in the problem, since they have a high curiosity. For human survival, the air, which is commonly used to refer to the surrounding space, is essential. Because of this, wisdom is necessary for the well-being of the spirit, and people who carry the air are acknowledged as information bearers. This is a crucial trait since air signs have analytical thought processes. They are more well-rounded than others because to their ability to assimilate information much more quickly than others, but this does not imply that they are smarter than everyone else in the room. Being well-rounded includes having the ability to listen and reason, which helps one become an effective communicator. An air sign's negative feature is the self-analysis that goes along with their cognitively active personality. They often have a harsher opinion of themselves than of the outside world. In many situations, this is definitely a good thing, but in others, it might be discouraging, because they are constantly thinking and considering anything that occurs to them. They can be easily distracted by their thoughts and have a tendency to ignore people, therefore it can annoy them when someone attempts to get them to talk. But in life, good times typically come after difficult ones, so air signs should see improved results from this self-evaluation as soon as possible. As mentioned before, air signs are generally empathetic, but can become resentful if provoked to a certain degree. They are also occasionally prone to physical violence because their anger is not forgotten. However, keep in mind that it is really difficult to irritate them. Because of their empathy and capacity for listening to others, if you try to sort things out with them, the resentment will subside almost instantly. Additionally, air signs have a high standard for themselves that they constantly strive to surpass. They thrive in some areas of their lives because of their egoistic character, but it can get old in other areas. I say something similar in my previous Taurus video. Just thinking about your sun sign, Gemini, might make you envision the sign as a toddler or young child. Even if you are adaptable and have a keen mind, you lack certain characteristics of the other signs of the zodiac. Every sign in the zodiac can benefit from understanding the others. You are the first sign to open your consciousness and question your thoughts. You want to gain some insight from the opposite sign of the zodiac. The aspects from Taurus are then applied to Gemini, the third sign of the zodiac. Gemini must study Cancer as a result. Ultimately, every sign benefits from and learns from the others. Now let's go all the way back to the beginning to when you were an adolescent. Mercury rules the sign of Gemini, thus in essence, they learn to speak well early in life and become proficient communicators later on. Compared to other toddlers, Gemini children begin muttering or saying words a little early. Since Gemini children have the expressive nature, don't be afraid of this early behavior. It is advised that parents or guardians support this conduct by engaging in activities meant to enhance this expressive side. The children can then inherit their ability to articulate themselves if they are properly raised. Surprisingly, many Gemini children are quieter than average, but when the occasion calls for it, they can be witty and endearing. Since they are always conversing with themselves, their quick wit also implies that they can speak clearly and concisely. Parents or guardians should provide their Gemini child with puzzles, music, books, and other materials that encourage inner speech. Examining, executing, and trying out new things piques the curiosity of Geminis. It is frequently noted that they also transition swiftly between activities. As a result, rather than concentrating on getting the most out of a single experience, Gemini kids are more likely to be interested in a variety of experiences combined. Because they are constantly seeking for new activities, this also causes children to grow bored considerably faster than other kids. These are the initial indications of your Gemini child's dual nature personality, which they will eventually inherit. Nevertheless, there is one advantage to this characteristic. Since they are accustomed to dealing with a variety of circumstances, Geminis who frequently alter their thoughts are also recognized for being adaptive and excellent problem solvers. This dual nature skill has a drawback as well. It is challenging to focus a Gemini child's attention on just one activity because they are constantly seeking new experiences. This might make it more difficult for them to concentrate, which would impair their skills. The first characteristic in common with Gemini kids is their unpredictable personality. Due to their dual and unpredictable personalities, the kids might do something that gets them or someone else in the school into trouble, but it can also mean that a lot of good things can happen as a result of their unexpected personalities. Considering their inquisitive and erratic disposition, Gemini kids find it challenging to adhere to rigid routines. This implies that the child may display a variety of undesirable behavioral tendencies. Attending school is an activity with a set routine, so if the child loses interest and follows their free spirits, they might act out in class or during other activities. Whether you realize it or not, the fundamental Gemini temperament is constantly functioning throughout all phases of life. There should be greater awareness of this issue. Throughout their early years, Geminis exhibit a lot of important characteristics that stem from their curiosity. This could be the first indication that the child is on a predetermined Gemini road that will eventually lead to a well-rounded identity. Let adults embrace this nature. In a few years, they'll develop into their analytical and inquisitive selves. As you grow and mature and become more in harmony with your Gemini, you'll begin to recognize your advantages and disadvantages. You probably have a strong interest in complex subjects or any particular field and typically enjoy talking about these topics with other people. However, this does not mean that Geminis are incapable of discussing other topics. They enjoy having talks and adding their 2 cents to every topic. They have an advantage in little but important daily conversations because of this trait. A Gemini makes friends with others by utilizing their gregarious disposition. When speaking, Geminis are courteous and nice to everyone they come into contact with, as opposed to arrogant. Regardless of their level of enthusiasm, they are interested in the viewpoints of those who are sitting across from them. They have the ability to hear others out and be heard themselves. Geminis are excellent moderators or pacifiers because of this quality. They not only know how to speak passionately about topics they are passionate about, but they also show it with their body language. Their nonverbal cues reveal their intentions and convey the ideas they are thinking. Geminis are therefore quite happy individuals to be around. Happiness is often found in the little things that happen during the day for Geminis. They wish for the best and don't spend time worrying about what their future holds. Geminis are moment-oriented people. Until something significant happens, they probably won't be unhappy all the time. They constantly try to maintain a positive and joyful attitude for both themselves and those around them. Gemini's ability to swiftly change and adapt to circumstances might be beneficial. A Gemini's appetite for adventure is constant. Every other minute, they feel at ease taking on new tasks. They have the ability to change their perspective and adapt it to the current circumstance. Ideals are secondary to cerebral comprehension for a Gemini. As a Gemini, you can find it difficult to believe something until you have seen the evidence. TV news that is too loud usually doesn't bother you. Rather, you look for reliable sources for your study and make an effort to comprehend every detail before agreeing with it. Even once you do acquire new knowledge, you are constantly in need of updates and deeper understanding. Let's now discuss the negative aspects of being a Gemini. An unhealthy Gemini will not want to be alone. They will never stop being with someone or doing something in order to avoid thinking about what's on their minds. An unhealthy Gemini or air sign can be identified from a distance, since they will be the focus of everyone else's attention except from their own. Any negative air sign is probably not interested in being alone with themselves, since they would be confined to their thoughts. A healthy air sign finds solitude and introspection to be almost therapeutic. However, if you are an air sign, Gemini for example, and find it difficult to be alone, it's likely a symptom of subconscious fear of your ego mask, your subconscious, and the person you've become. Even while Geminis seem to be friendly when speaking with a group of people, their tendency to be accommodating to everyone could give them a dishonest appearance. They may support any subject at one moment and disagree wholeheartedly with the same proposition at another. Geminis run the risk of betraying themselves if they adopt a certain set of beliefs. They often ignore the opinions of others while confusing their own convictions. Many other Geminis become confused by this process and sink into self-doubt. Geminis may struggle to identify their own values, but they also experience anxiety when faced with important choices that could change their lives. Worry about one's conduct follows doubt about one's own convictions. You could find that, as a Gemini, you struggle with making decisions at times. They have a propensity to be extremely picky about the slightest details, to the point where they mentally generate thousands upon thousands of options. Have a penchant for monetary gain. In general, Gemini individuals lack the ability to recognize an individual's inherent beauty. They are in awe of the world's beauty and magnificence. They aspire to possess the same elegance and beauty that appeals to them. While charm and intelligence are universally attractive, Geminis have a tendency to miss the deeper, more significant qualities in objects, people, and locations. It makes sense that they could try to hang out with delightful and wealthy individuals, but end up unsatisfied. Geminis may turn away from their close friends in favor of a charming and attractive person. This may be harmful to Geminis' social lives as well as their maturity. These kinds of friendships are likely to fade, and they might find themselves with fewer shoulders to weep on. The worst thing about this is that Gemini will probably make the same error again and fall into a deep, dark hole. Geminis should accept people for who they are rather than how they appear on the outside, as they find satisfaction in the small things in life. This is a lesson that most Geminis have to learn the hard way. This is evident when Gemini is placed to fault for something they did not accomplish. They will probably apologize because it is the right thing to do, even though some portions of them might still be perplexed as to what they may have done wrong. Geminis are prone to rash decisions because they are typically voracious learners. When a Gemini hears a new hypothesis or view about anything, for example, they are prone to let that influence alter their own perceptions. Remember that Geminis are independent thinkers by nature, so don't assume otherwise. Rather, when presented with a set of ideas or opinions, they get readily perplexed once more. They succumb to confusion if their investigation does not yield the truth. Despite having an energetic personality, Geminis are prone to exploding in public once they hit their breaking point. When the overload reaches a breaking point, they recall all that was said and meant, store it away in memory, and then react impulsively. Gemini might grin brightly like an angel or scream at you like the devil, depending on the situation. Numerous Geminis may experience friendship or relationship breakups as a result of this. If this is something that a Gemini does frequently, they should work on their emotions, given their propensity for rapid reaction. They rarely follow a set schedule and usually accept whatever comes their way. Because of this, Geminis lack perspective in their lives, relationships, friendships, and jobs. The greatest shortcoming of a Gemini is their constant need to be amused and involved. They tend to take on more than they can handle since they enjoy exploring a variety of interesting subjects. If you're a Gemini, you should probably keep a record of everything you promise to do, and when it's required of you. As we've already covered, Geminis are perceived as having multiple personalities. They could be perceived as people-pleasers or deceitful. Even in astrology, duality is represented by Gemini. This isn't truly the fault of a Gemini. They might just be attempting to be amiable and kind to others. When they overdo it and unintentionally cause discomfort to others, that's when the trouble starts. Given how erratic their behavior might be, Gemini people may come to mind as having unstable personalities. In general, Geminis have wonderful, endearing personalities. They can quickly get along with people thanks to their strengths. However, they frequently experience social difficulties when they overindulge in talkativeness and unintentionally offend others. Their shortcomings are merely the opposite of their advantages. Geminis should put a lot of effort into finding a balance between the two without sacrificing who they fundamentally are. Additionally, loving oneself and loving others must coexist in harmony for Geminis. One characteristic of a Gemini is that, despite their desire for commitment, they will avoid it. They are always seeking for unexpected thrills, which is why they have no consistency in their lives. They enjoy taking on new challenges and pursuing diverse hobbies. It is crucial that Geminis remember this, as their fear of running out of time and freedom can lead them to ignore those who share their interests. In this situation, never settle for less. Young Geminis should be reassured that there is someone who can and will equal their love of experiences and satisfy the needs of their dual personalities. However, expectations can limit your experience. Geminis must never give up on finding the ideal person and muster the courage to wait for it to happen. It should be noted that this does not imply that you search for the ideal person or an exact replica of the ideal person you have visualized. Seek out people who merely satisfy your bodily, mental, spiritual, and emotional requirements instead. A good challenge appeals to Geminis. If someone tries to convey that they don't care about them, a Gemini will try to grab their attention. In the long run, this might strengthen your bond with a Gemini, even though it can annoy them initially. Additionally, a Gemini will increase their appreciation for you in the partnership. Use caution when using this move because overusing it could make a Gemini feel repulsed by you. A Gemini thinks that the quality of the sex that a couple is having often defines a healthy relationship. Geminis who are pursuing relationships may discover that sex makes or breaks the bond. Geminis are affectionate people who love being around other people. It follows that it makes perfect sense for them to put a great deal of trust in their friends and partners. Geminis may be willing to forgive and let someone back into their lives after they have betrayed their trust, but they will never be able to win it back. This is a result of Geminis' intellect and decision to think critically above and beyond their feelings. They are able to forgive fast because of this quality. It does not follow that Geminis aren't also emotional people just because they are able to think past their feelings. Due to their extreme happiness and emotional detachment, Geminis are known for having a lot of secrets. It can be quite emotionally draining and take up a lot of their energy to keep these secrets. It's possible that Geminis aren't living life to the fullest because they are afraid of being vulnerable with their secrets. A Gemini can live a more daring and free life than they already do by emotionally opening out to others and disclosing intimate secrets to them. Furthermore, don't assume that you can go behind a Gemini's back and hope they never find out. The nature of Geminis is really curious. They will make an effort to discover any secrets they detect. This is the reason you should be open and truthful with Geminis at all times. On any given day of the week, they will always choose the truth over lies. They will value it regardless of how terrible reality is. Let's finally discuss the Gemini-Cancer cusp and the Taurus-Gemini cusp. You are a Taurus-Gemini cusp if your birthday falls between May 17th and May 23rd. You are a Gemini-Cancer cusp if your birthday falls between June 17th and June 20th. Watch my most recent video on Taurus to learn more about a Taurus-Gemini cusp. Taurus-Gemini cusp loves self-reliance. For people who represent the Gemini cusp, independence is crucial. They are proud, diligent individuals who seek recognition for their contributions. The dual-ruled Venus and Mercury truly do possess limitless, young vitality, which may be a benefit when directed. However, if it is not focused appropriately, that energy can also leave the bearer feeling disoriented, restless, and nervous. People on the cusp of Cancer and Gemini are known for being secretive about their emotions. Even though they are an expert in your deepest sentiments and thoughts, don't be shocked if you don't know what's going on in their lives. Their capacity to inform someone about themselves intuitively, without giving away who they are, is only one of their numerous talents. And the reason for this is that the moon, which regulates Cancer, is associated with intuition and hiding. They prefer to be among people they know and trust, and that trust is frequently earned. Mercury and the moon are their ruling planets. Gemini Cancers are sensitive, loving people who place a high priority on family, which includes both biological relatives and close friends. I think I've covered just about everything there is to know about Geminis. Each sign of the zodiac has a significant influence on the world. The third sign, Gemini, is also the first mutable and air sign. Some people might believe that Geminis are simply two-faced and too talkative. You'll find, though, that Geminis are more complex than the stereotypes that have been applied to them. You'll probably view things differently when you've taken the time to truly comprehend and learn about them. Whoever is viewing, I hope you found this video entertaining and educational. Thank you for viewing, and if you could, please like and share this video.